Amber. We all know that you can't afford to pay for the appeals, so you're getting your lawyers who maybe they've just been pledged to be paid or something like that, because I don't really know right now if you'd be making the wisest financial decision by continuing to do anything for this bitch at this point, but this is where we're at, okay? So this isn't the official appeal, right? Because she can't really put up the 8.35 million plus 6%, which is, it works out to just a shade under 9 million. I think it's 8.8, something like that. But whatever. No, she doesn't have that money. She's not that liquid, okay? Well, if she goes on OnlyFans and decides to go liquid, she might be able to come up with it in a couple of months' time. We've seen some record numbers that have been put out there, and she would be doing famously on OnlyFans right now, about the only place that you can. So what they did instead was file a motion to dismiss the jury verdict, because no reasonable jury could have came to the decision that they came to. This is the Amber Heard position. She literally believes all of her bullshit. To this very day, until her dying breath, she will believe that everything that she said up there on the stand is 100% true. I appreciate her for that. I don't like her. I don't understand her really, but the fact that she is the theoretical captain going down with the ship, I don't know, man. Good on you, sweetie. Except for your logic and your reasoning. It's just a shade off, okay? Like, this is a 53-page motion. I'm not reading through all of this stuff. We're going to take a look at the summary, anything that might be interesting. A lot of the pages are also just annotations and citing different cases that are out there, okay? Just trying to explain away her terrible logic and make it everybody else's problem. She's hilarious in and of herself. But this right here, okay, we'll read the cover page and then we'll get to the summary. And that the summary is just going to basically say everything that the legal team meanders on about in the body of the motion here. So let's see if they're at least okay, because this comes straight off of the desk. Okay, you can notice from the little paw prints. Oh no, wait a minute, at least the cover page doesn't have any, but this comes straight from the desk of Elaine. So maybe she's good at like motion practice, okay, like doing that transaction stuff, because we've seen her performance in the courtroom and boy is that lacking. So she might be good at doing lawyer shit elsewhere. So let's see here. Defendant and counterclaim plaintiff Amber Laura Heard. There, see, now I know why Elaine did that when they first called her up to the stand. It's just so easy to say and try to assume that Amber Heard is somebody different than who she really is. But Amber Laura Heard hereby moves this court to set aside the jury's verdict on all 3 counts of the plaintiff and counterclaim defendant John C. Depp's complaint, to dismiss the complaint and to investigate potential improper juror service. What? Well, if there was a tampered juror, yeah, no, exactly. Everybody deserves a fair trial, even somebody as corrupt and evil as Amber Heard. But yeah, man, their logic behind what constitutes improper juror service is a bit of a stretch. Listen, okay, if Derek Chauvin, okay, a guy who didn't exactly have the most honest and forthright jury, okay, because you remember there were a couple of people that said, well, we kind of feared for our lives. Those were alternates, okay? If we didn't return the correct decision, and wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know the correct decision. Or the one guy who was on the jury is like, have you ever attended a Black Lives Matter rally? And it's like, no, okay, no, I've been to several, so I guess theoretically, by the question that was asked, he wasn't necessarily telling a lie or anything like that, but in actuality, come on now, I went to a bunch of rallies and all I got was this stupid Black Lives Matter shirt. Like, come on, you can't hold that against me. It's their logic, man, is pretty stupid, but very explosive claim right there. Okay, so I don't know when this is going to get decided. Probably this week. They're probably just going to look at it and be like, nah, we're good. But as you can see, the entire team is still there. You got Elaine, you got Rottenborn, and you got, the lawyers from the other side of this. But this all comes from Team Heard, and Elaine is, does she still think that she needs to continue to do this? Like, you guys lost. This sucks to suck. You just fucking move on with your life. You're not getting paid from this bitch, okay? Sorry to say, she's going to try to find a way to weasel her way out of this. Because if she can't pay for the verdict, there's no way in fuck she's going to be able to pay you, dude. Like, just hold the L on this. All right, so we'll read the summary and the argument. Okay, so defendant and counterclaim plaintiff. Amber, Laura Heard, Ms. Heard, respectfully moves this court to set aside the jury's verdict on all 3 counts of plaintiff and counterclaim defendant John C. Depp II's Mr. Depp's complaint, dismiss the complaint, alternatively to order a new trial. Why? But you want another shot at this with this fucking legal team? I wouldn't. I doubt it. And to investigate potential improper juror service. In support, Ms. Heard relies upon the prior record, including objections and arguments during hearings and at trial, motions in limine, motions to strike, and the arguments following. No, she wants to have this dismissed, right? I don't have the money to appeal, so because we preserved all of our objections for appeal, we want to use that now for our motion to dismiss. It's like, you're never going to get this, but good on you for trying, okay? From the beginning, Mr. Depp set out to try this case as domestic relations dispute he wished he had tried rather than settled in 2016. Starting off hot, Elaine. Congratulations, okay? And by the way, everything was kind of fine in 2016. Sure, there was the People magazine cover and all that stuff, but Depp was still getting work. It was all about 2018 and then those claims that came out, and because Amber said that she had become the face of domestic violence or whatever dumb shit it was in the Washington Post there that referenced 2016. That was all done and dusted, okay? They had their little statement at the end of the divorce, okay? Nobody made any claims for financial gains or anything like that, but considering the bitch had just countersued for a whim of like, well, he asked for 50 million, I'm gonna charge 100 million because she's not a gold digger, guys. She's definitely not that. Okay. Mr. Depp's counsel argued throughout the trial that the issues before the jury began 6 years ago when Ms. Heard obtained a domestic violence temporary restraining order against Mr. Depp on May 27th, 2016. Yeah, no, exactly. That's where, well, actually, frankly, they argued a bunch of different things before that as well. More lies from Amber Heard, but again, your perspective. Mr. Depp and his legal team told the jury, they told the world, in fact, when social media, how much longer are we going to have to go before she starts to blame social media? But this is also a legal document, so maybe she's going to keep it above board. They were seeking to, anyway, yeah, and a legal team were seeking to restore Mr. Depp's reputation and his legacy for his children. Yeah, that's what a defamation case is all about. Congratulations. What is that, like first week of law school? Anyways, that this was the first time Mr. Depp had been able to tell his story since you're still okay, cool. So different lie. Okay, this was definitely his first opportunity because guess what? My UK trial was about a different law in a different country told behind closed doors. So again, this is the first time he has the opportunity to face his fucking accuser. Okay. Oh my God. By the way, the court is totally going to see through these tactics, by the way. It's just not you and me. The claim in this case were far different than the case Mr. Depp tried to the jury. No, it wasn't. You guys presented a much different case than what you should have. We've been over that ad nauseum, but the way that you won this case, simple claims, very short witness list, okay, and not be an abrasive cunt on the stand. Amber couldn't do that, and they made this, okay, their side made this into a huge PR nightmare, okay, with Amber Heard's fantastical fucking claims, okay, their underhanded lawyering, okay, if we're gonna be completely fucking honest on this stuff, okay, a bunch of little snide remarks, Rottenborn, you know, normally being the most charismatic person in the room, and then still trying his old tried and true tactics on Johnny fucking Depp, okay, and then taking a massive L after massive L, and then just some of the most incompetent lawyering you are gonna see outside of the first stages of law school, okay? Like a motherfucker who's watched 12 Angry Men or A Few Good Men probably have a better interpretation of how a lawyer should conduct themselves in a courtroom than, you know, young Chank did, or that other little fucking goofy little dork on the legal team for Amber Heard. But no, exactly. Mr. Depp had a different case. It's still projection. Elaine, sweetheart. if you want to try to find a man in your advanced age at this point, get away from Amber Heard. She is poisoning your thinking on this one, unless you're just already fucking gone. Who knows? Mr. Depp's claim arose from a op-ed published in the Washington Post on December 18th. And what was that referencing? Just these ambiguous sexual and domestic violence assault claims that were perpetuated by Johnny Depp. And the jury, thanks to Amber Heard admitting it herself on the stand, you failed to acknowledge that point. But I guess you're also hoping the people who read this motion, Judge Azcarati, who was there for the entire fucking trial, might I remind you, would just forget that. Hey, when she's making these big important decisions, just forget all that shit happened. But whatever, I'm sure they're just gonna say didn't even mention Depp by name. There was also evidence presented from the ACLU that had previous drafts of the op-ed that specifically referenced Depp, and then back and forth on, but whatever. Okay. This is going to be nonsensical. Okay. 2.5 years later. Oh my God, that's when the Washington Post published the op-ed that was written by the ACLU, gone back and forth between Amber Heard's old counsel and the ACLU lawyers, and then she co-signed it and in fact distributed it out to the world via Instagram and Twitter. Congratulations, stupid, you played yourself. Mr. Depp alleged that 3 statements, one, the title authored by the Washington Post, formed the basis of his defamation claims. Yeah, well, bitch co-opted it and fucking tweeted it out for the world. She didn't change a goddamn thing, said I published an op-ed, ergo I co-sign everything that's in there. Oh well. To avoid explaining to the jury the UK final judgment finding Mr. Depp to have committed 12 acts of domestic violence. Yeah, and they might be going back on that stuff because they were relying on absolute lies that you told and were exposed on the stand in the United States. Okay, mostly for the fact that you didn't donate a fucking dime to any of those charities that the UK judge was also very partial towards. Okay, but that big simp has a litany of problems in and of himself. Okay, but yeah, no, exactly. You couldn't talk about my UK trial. Johnny Depp's side couldn't bring up the fact that Amber, maybe when she was younger, killed her best friend in a drunk driving accident. Okay, had a charge of lying to the Australian government, which is still being investigated. Open investigation. That's what we talked about last week at some point in time. Forget the date, but did that as well. Oh yeah, and also beat up her at the time lesbian partner in Seattle Airport in 2009. I couldn't think of a more perfect situation than that. All it needed was just a couple of flannel shirts, and they were loading their luggage into a U-Haul. But regardless, and including sexual violence. Oh my God. This isn't going to hold water. This is a different standard of law in a different fucking country. Nothing to do with any of that stuff, okay? Mr. Depp represented to the courts that he would limit his damages claim to the time period, okay, December 18th through November 2nd, 2020. Yeah, exactly. When he lost all of his fucking gigs in Hollywood, okay? Couple days after which, December 18th this is, okay? Disney said that, yeah, he ain't coming back for Pirates 6, which was in the works at some stage at that time, which was initially right off the bat 26 million, 26 or 22 and a half, right? Yeah, I think that's what it was. But if there's going to be a Pirate 6, it looks like he's going to be in for quite a big windfall after that. Even still, okay, and then just a regular working year of 2019, okay, most of 2020 as well, because he still would have been lined up for work even during the pandemic as well. So it's not unreasonable, and many people testified to the fact that $50 million, seems about right, and then you just want to throw on some damages on top of that. It's not unreasonable to ask for that much, because we're dealing with a guy who is a legitimate fucking movie star. So again, it's not unreasonable, okay, which is what they're going to argue here in a moment. I guarantee it. The date to the UK judgment. Yet, Mr. Depp made no such effort at any point in this trial to limit his claimed damages. Not his responsibility. You should have reined him in. Sorry. Instead, throughout even the closings, Mr. Depp continued to urge the jury to restore his reputation and legacy of his children as a result of Ms. Heard accusing Mr. Depp in May 2016 of domestic violence by obtaining a DVTRO. Well, remember, when did his career come to a screeching fucking fucking halt right after the op-ed was published. So yeah, and that was probably a concession, okay, from your guys' side, okay? But again, should have just been better lawyers. I don't know what else to tell you. Jury verdict was obviously influenced by Mr. Depp's pleas in the face of the court's preclusion of Ms. Heard from introducing evidence that Mr. Depp had already, in fact, been adjudicated in the court of his choosing to have committed not just one act of domestic violence abuse. Sorry, what? Okay. Listen, okay, we couldn't bring in these obvious fucking hearsay documents, okay? They're talking about the stupid therapist notes, which is just Amber Heard self-reporting to her therapist, who is also a dear friend, okay? Couldn't bring in that stuff, okay? But you had all your other nonsensical medical records, okay, and the lack thereof to also prove your case. So again, I don't know what to say, really. You brought all the evidence that you could. Depp side brought all the evidence they could, and you came up lacking. You're just, I don't know, much ado about nothing, but congratulations. You convinced a simp in the UK. That has nothing to do with anything, okay? But yeah, no, recapping this because you think that it's a good argument. She's just an overall horrible lawyer. Anyways, at least it's well written, okay, except for this run-on sentence, so I'm kind of already contradicting myself. Maybe I'll be hired by the Heard team. I don't want it, by the way. Don't want it, no. Anyways, of his choosing to have committed not just one act of domestic violence abuse. Sorry. Oh, by the way, I can't fail to mention this as well, okay? It wasn't a court of his choosing. He had to sue the UK Sun because they were the ones that published the headline calling him a wife beater, okay? He couldn't just sue them in the middle of the United States or in fucking Zimbabwe, okay? Or use Saudi Arabia, you know, fucking Sharia law in order to adjudicate his claim. He had to sue them in the UK because the UK Sun, imagine this, is published in the fucking UK. It's not exactly a court of his choosing, you dumb cunt. Fucking Christ. Anyways, all that he needed in this case for a defense verdict, but 12 acts of domestic violence, including sexual violence. Oh my God, the exclusion of the UK judgment, coupled with Mr. Depp's continuous urging to the jury to go back 6 years to exonerate him and restore his reputation. I'm sure you'll cite that in some form or fashion, but still, they were also told his career, he had a fairly normal career year in 2016, okay, after all of the accusations were made, but it all came to a complete stop in 2018. And again, 2018's op-ed was all predicated on everything that Heard was making up in 16 and prior to 16, which I don't know what she's claiming right now. Johnny Depp started beating me back in 1911. I don't know. The exclusion of the UK, coupled with continuous urging, go back 6 years, resulted in the indefensible $10 million compensatory damages. Listen, the jury is too stupid to have seen through Johnny Depp's obvious lies, right? So just, I don't know where they came up with this $10 million, okay, and $5 million punitive damage verdict. They were just being vindictive. They're all misogynists. The verdict is excessive as a matter of law in light of evidence and law and should be set aside. Yes, exactly. The jury, which this is the hardest thing to ever overturn. This is why this motion is just going to be like, oh, that's nice. Okay, and then just get tossed off of Judge Azcarati's desk because the jury has between $1 and the $50 million asking price. They can put aside literally anything, and they landed on $15 million, so not even half, okay? Not even a third, okay? They went under that. So I don't know why you're so mad. But it's funny, you want a brand new trial, but you still want your one counterclaim to stand up? Oh, okay, cool. Once again, I don't see any responsibility being taken here so far, but whatever. Further evidencing the confusing result from Mr. Depp's efforts to relitigate the 2016 domestic relations matter without the truth of the UK judgment. Sorry, what? He didn't. Everything was whatever. Whatever, we've already dealt with that. The jury's dueling verdicts are inconsistent and irreconcilable. I agree. I totally agree. You should get rid of the statements of Adam Waldman. It was obviously a compromise verdict. Hell, one of the jurors claimed as much, so, you know, hey. Finding of defamation against Ms. Heard with a $2 million award is inconsistent with the findings of defamation against Mr. Depp with a $15 million award. Not really, no, because her overall net worth, her worth as a quote unquote movie star is significantly less than the movie star of Johnny Depp. That's just how it is, okay? And again, we're never going to be able to peer into the minds of the jury, okay? But remember the claim that Ms. Heard got awarded on. There were even some compromising that was happening on answering if everything, you know what, hey, just fit the bill for defamation. So I understand you have to make the most vociferous argument for your client, but it's not a good look here. The claim that she won on, okay, was fairly subjective, if we're being completely honest, okay? It was about, Heard's claims of domestic violence, weren't enough to convince the first round of officers, so they spilt a little wine, roughed the place up, okay, and then called back another set of officers who, again, didn't really see anything. So, and then they used the advice of a publicist and a lawyer, which you can't really prove that. That's just more or less like, okay, she probably called somebody. There's phone records. Okay, so they called somebody. Maybe they got some advice. Okay, but we didn't have anything tangible that was there. But again, those were the words of Adam Waldman, who was, I guess, acting as an agent in that respect, but then not in the other ones. Or maybe they didn't agree that the other claims that were on there, I don't even remember them. There were 3 or 4 in total, but it was only that one, okay? Mostly because, again, we don't know with the jury, but it's just the longest, most complex one with a bunch of different moving parts. So again, you might be able to disagree with that, and if it was just all about a compromised verdict, okay, and the fact that they had to go back and probably fill out the $2 million damages part meant that it was really just an afterthought. So again, yeah, it's inconsistent and irreconcilable, just not for the way you want to present it. In the face of these inconsistent verdict, the judgment should be set aside and a new trial ordered. No. You're just asking for Johnny Depp's claims to be thrown out. No, we're fine. We're fine with the $2 million. We're fine. We just want the initial claim to be retried. It's not happening. At trial, Mr. Depp proceeded solely on the defamation by implication theory. So did you, and you won on that. Okay, so what are we doing here? Abandoning any claims that Ms. Heard's statements were actually false. What? No. Oh my God. I got stunned for a second. Holy shit, that was so fucking stupid. It almost begs the question. No, okay. It didn't prove that Ms. Heard's claims were false. No, they just used her words and the words of many other people to back those up. She couldn't substantiate any of her claims, and when they were asked for clarification, she contradicted herself. So what else do you want? You can't prove a negative. Well, what are we doing here? But we, as here, the statements are true on their face, which Mr. Depp, never challenged. Sorry, what? The plaintiff is a public figure, which Mr. Depp has conceded he is. Yeah, and they also got over the bar of defamation on a public figure by finding out that all of those claims that they brought forward to the jury were made with actual malice. But again, we're considering that the jury's retarded. And finally, C, the subject matter of the op-ed is on matters of public concern. Yeah, that Amber Heard is a liar, and even the Washington Post had to admit that. Anyways, which the court earlier determined as a matter of law, the First Amendment prohibits claims by implication. But it doesn't protect you if you're lying, though. That's the problem. Well, this appears to be the case of first impressions in Virginia, dicta in our courts, and holdings in other courts in similar circumstances warrant applying this doctrine in this case, setting aside the judgment and dismissing the complaint. Aha, exactly, but upholding our counter complaint. Or maybe because you'd be dismissing the complaint, you'd also be dismissing the counter complaint as well. I don't think that's the case, but that could be the case. I'm not a lawyer after all. Fuck, I'm not even from Virginia. I'm not even from the United States. I'm just laughing at dumb hoes. Okay, Mr. Depp never challenged the fact that Ms. Heard did not write the title of the op-ed. Okay, she still published it though. One of the 3 defamatory statements comprising Mr. Depp's defamation claims. Yeah, no, exactly. Kind of poked a hole in that. Hopefully, yeah, she's just really hoping that As Karate has a stroke while she's reading this. Instead, Mr. Depp contends Ms. Heard's tweet of a link to the article. She also added additional commentary over the top of that, and that was proven out in court, you stupid bitch. The following day constituted actionable republication. Yeah, that's what the jury found. But, oh, right, the jury. Everybody's wrong except for Amber Heard. I forgot. Oh, my God. It's been a minute. In addition to establishing dangerous precedent, oh my God, suggesting anybody tweeting or retweeting an article or link can be independently liable for the content. Yeah, no, exactly. That's not what they're doing here. She added content to the tweet, you moron. This interpretation is beyond the reach of Virginia law on republication. It would be if that was the case, because nothing in Ms. Heard's tweets constituted a legally enforceable republication. Actually, no, that's not the case at all. The court should be dismissed. Oh, this count, sorry, should be dismissed again. She hasn't got to the point where you're out of order. The whole court's out of order. Hasn't got that bad yet, but we're getting there. Since the damages award does not separate out these three statements in the event, the court does not dismiss all three counts. Aha, exactly. Because we misinterpreted the reason that they found that one count to be defamatory, that means the rest of the counts are no longer defamatory. That's the big thing, okay? That's why they get paid the big bucks. They've been pledged to be paid the big bucks. Okay. Court does not dismiss all three counts. As judgment should be set aside and a new trial ordered on the remaining claims. For the jury. All right, here's where we get... I think this is where we dip into the negative IQ. For the jury to find Ms. Heard's demonstrated actual malice, Mr. Depp was required to establish... Oh, okay, cool. Now... I thought we were getting to the jury itself. Anyways, but at the time the op-ed was published, Ms. Heard did not believe, she had been abused or that she had doubts about whether she was abused. Huh? Yo, that's like big stupid. But Mr. Depp presented no evidence that Ms. Heard did not believe she was abused. Yeah, we all know that she's psychotic, okay? She can believe whatever she wants. It's just, if she didn't have the evidence to back it up, she's a fucking liar and she made those statements and that's malicious action. Like, I don't know what to tell you here, dude. Therefore, Mr. Depp did not meet the legal requirements for actual malice and the verdict should be set aside. No. Mr. Depp improperly relied on time-barred and judicially privileged statements as the basis for his defamation case by innuendo claims. Huh? Although actionable innuendo must be drawn from the four corners of the document in this case, it could only be drawn from the reference in the article to Ms. Heard obtaining a DVTRO against Mr. Depp in 2016. This warrants setting aside the verdict on all three of the defamation counts. So let me get this straight. Like, this just seems like fucking gobbledygook that you just throw in normally. Time-barred and judicially privileged statements. Okay, so Mr. Depp improperly relied on the law, the courts, and what was said during a specific time in order to prove his case. Okay, it looks like he relied too much on evidence and the law, and we don't like that because we didn't have either on our side, so you should set that aside. But finally, yes, finally, the information on the jury panel list appears to be inconsistent with the identity and demographics of one of the jurors. We believe, we don't know for sure, but we believe that one of the jurors was lying about their age. Huh? Why does that matter? Okay. Juror number 15 was apparently born in 1970, not 1945. Huh? As reported to and relied upon by the parties. Why? What? Like, okay, if somebody was born in 1970, right, they would be 53. If they were born in 1945, they'd be 78. There's no mistake in the two, okay? Like, a 53 looks significantly different than a 78. Joe Biden is 78 years old. When Joe Biden was vice president, okay, for Barack Obama in 2008, right? Okay, so 14 years ago, he's 78. Even that passage of time, you see a markedly different human being up there, just as a very public example. You don't make that mistake. And why would that be significant at all? Okay, I don't get it. Okay, this isn't one of those things where it's like something that would be highly influential, okay? This is just a quarter century of what are you trying to gleam into here? Like, I don't get it, okay? As reported on and relied upon by the parties, including Ms. Heard, in selecting a jury panel. Given the requirements of verification of each juror, it appears the identity of the juror was not verified. Okay, again, it's just shitty lawyering. Congratulations. It is unclear if Juror 15 was in fact ever summoned for jury duty or qualified to serve on the panel. Oh, okay, cool. So you don't know if Juror 15 was... in the jury. Oh, okay, cool. This warrants an investigation by the court to determine if the juror was in fact summoned and whether the due process rights of the parties were bypassed. Oh, okay. Now you're concerned about oh, okay, cool. Now you're actually like citing something legally actionable. It doesn't work though. Depending on the results of this investigation, this may justify setting aside the verdict in its entirety and setting this matter for a new trial. I was going to read the argument, but she's a long bird here, so we'll just go over some of the highlights. The damages awarded by the jury are unsupported by the evidence and the law. Oh my God. Yeah, no, exactly. They were just the first line is stupid. I'm not going to read all of this. By the way, we're just going to be scrolling through here. The jury returned a verdict in the amount of $10 million, and the compensatory damages $5 million. And punitive damages amount was reduced to the statutory cap of $350,000. So yeah, therefore they're trying to say that jury was being mean by awarding $5 million. Okay, when you can only actually get $350,000. Okay, that's big think, I guess, but whatever. I don't care what your fucking arguments are. Maybe I'll go back if I see somebody else cover something that looks a little interesting, but I don't care. There is no evidence for pecuniary damages from the op-ed. Taking the evidence in the light most favorable to Mr. Depp, there is no evidence upon which the jury could have reasonably relied on to determine that Mr. Depp suffered any pecuniary loss because of the op-ed. No, exactly. They had multiple, a whole lot of testimony to the fact that, no, that's just not the case. Again. Oh, right. What are they relying on? Oh, yes. Tracy Jacobs, who looks like one of the fucking abandoned wayouts, testified that there was no deal negotiated and no commitment from Disney that Mr. Depp would be in Pirate 6. Funny thing about Tracy Jacobs, she was not Johnny Depp's agent at the time that was being negotiated. So why don't you talk, what is it, Ralph Wiggum? That was who Depp's agent was at the time, so she would have no information about that. But okay, yeah, you just continue to talk about that. But again, yeah, deals in Hollywood are not done in the same traditional way. The jury's compensatory and punitive damages awards were excessive as a matter of law. Yeah, Amber can't afford that, so why are you making her pay that much? Mr. Depp is not entitled to damages for any conduct prior to the op-ed. Yeah, but the op-ed was predicated on actions before 2016, so you done played yourself. Anyways, where else are we going? Oh, yes, exactly. Just citing a bunch of different things from the case. I don't care about that. It just really looks like they're just big sad about this, and it's just kind of a more in-depth accusation. It's just a more in-depth resuscitation of what Amber's side has been talking about in different interviews. Oh, if we would have just had my therapist note, that would have made all the difference because we won in UK. Cool, wonderful. Like I've said, if you want to run a third trial, let's just do it in Saudi. I think that would be very favorable to you. We'll put it all on the line, right? Johnny Depp's career versus, I don't know, what's the normal treatment for a three-way having monkey branch and whore? I think Abdul get the rocks. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.